Hi, this is Liz from SeniorTechConnect. If you're not sure what a browser is, or you want to learn how to use the internet better, this video is for you. Welcome to our Browser Basics Part 1. In this video, we're going to cover what is a browser. So by the time this is done, you'll know. And also, what are some basic functions of a browser that you're using? Before we get started, a couple of reminders. Thank you so much for making the difference in our world. We are so glad that you are here, spending some time with us, but also that you're here in this world. You are here for a reason, and we thank you for the difference that you're making in the people around you. With SeniorTechConnect, our motto is you're never too old to learn something new or relearn something forgotten. So we've put together some note sheets to help you with that, so you can remember the things or relearn things that you may have learned in the past. So we've got those over at SeniorTechConnect.net. You can print that out and then you'll be able to take notes as you watch or rewatch this video. And then lastly, we appreciate so much that you're spending your time with us today and that you are going to hopefully then share us with your friends and family and help grow our SeniorTechConnect community. So let's get started. What's a browser? Browser is software. So it's a software program that's been written that will help you access websites. Even your email is done on a website. So you may not be aware that you've been using a browser, but you are already using a browser anytime you open up your email. Now, most devices, most computers, tablets, or phones come with a browser already loaded. For example, if you are an Apple user, so you have an Apple computer or an iPad or an iPhone, your browser that comes with those is Safari, and it will look like that, kind of. And if you are using a PC, those currently come loaded, most of them come loaded with Microsoft Edge, which looks like this. And if you're using a Chromebook, then that would come with Chrome being the browser that is used on a Chromebook. Other browsers, there's more than 200 available currently. Other browsers, you'll have to go to a website and download it in order to get it. And why would you want to do that? Well, different browsers are created by the companies that own them. They are created to do different things. So some of them will specialize maybe in privacy or in connectivity or in being simple. And currently our security specialist here at SeniorTechConnect is testing out several different browsers of the ones that are more popular to see if there are specific browsers that we would like to recommend to you. At this point, we're going to be using Chrome in all of our examples because in the latest statistics, Chrome is the browser that is used by more than half of the people here in the United States. So that's the one that we are going to use in our example until we find out that those in our SeniorTechConnect community are using a different browser, in which case then we would switch and we would possibly have both Chrome and then another browser to use in our examples. Just a note, if you are on an older device and you are currently using Internet Explorer, please be aware that it is no longer supported. That means that they are no longer writing security updates for it, which means that anytime you use it to connect to the internet, you are leaving yourself open to cyber attacks, and you could have other bad things happen to your computer. So we strongly suggest that if you are using Internet Explorer, that you quickly get another browser to use. And we'll talk about how to do that. In our note sheet for this particular video, we do have in the additional resources section at the bottom, we have instructions for you so that if you are using Internet Explorer, it walks you through what you need to do to get Google Chrome downloaded, and you can use that as a browser. Or any of the myriad other browsers, they would all have a similar process if you wanted to use something else. And if you're not sure what browser to use, talk to your friends and see what they use. and they'll have the reasons why they like it. And if you talk to lots of people and they're using lots of different ones, then based on their reasons, you can decide which browser you want to use. So what browser are you currently using? Let's help you figure that out. I put at the top of this screen lots of the most popular ones that are being used based on the statistics I could gather. So I've got the picture of the icon, and then in words below I have the company or what that particular browser is called. So what you're going to do is you're going to look at your taskbar. It's usually on the bottom or side of your screen. It has, at least in the Windows programs, computers, there's the little Windows icon thing, and then there's your search bar, and then there's a series of icons, and those are the different programs. And depending on who set up your computer, they may have put specific things that they knew you would use a lot, and they put those down into your taskbar. In our computer basics video, which I'll put a link to below in the description underneath this video, and I'll also have it in a card at the end of the video. The computer basics video will show you how to deal with the settings, to add things to your taskbar, take things away from your taskbar, etc. So look at your taskbar. If you can't find your taskbar, if you're like, Liz, there is no taskbar. Whoever set up your computer maybe didn't like the taskbar to be showing all the time. So take your mouse and hover down by the bottom or over to the side, and you should see a taskbar at that point. So go ahead and find your taskbar, and what I want you to do is look at the different programs. Currently, you're actively watching a video on YouTube, so you are actively using your browser. So your browser is going to be an active program. That means it's going to be highlighted in a slightly different color. Any programs that you have open on your computer currently are going to have a line underneath them. So find which browser you're using, and then I want you to make a note of that either on your note sheet. We have a place on page 1 for you to write that down, or go ahead and make a note of it on a scratch piece of paper so that you'll know which browser you're using, which could be important as you're trying to troubleshoot things later. All right, so next we're going to be looking at the different functions within a browser. And so on computer, the browser will organize different websites. They'll let you have multiple websites open, and as they have that, they will create a tab. You'll have a tab for each of the websites that you have open. On tablets and phones, they are usually referred to as pages, and you can click on the little page icon and you can see all the different website pages you have open if you're doing a tablet or a phone. But this we're going to talk about from a computer. So you've got tabs. When you open up your browser, your tab might have just one tab open. Maybe whoever set up your computer has you going through and doing one tab with your email because you said, yep, I check my email every day and this is what I do. And that's really the only thing I do. Sometimes I'll go do other things, but that's the thing I always have open. So they'll set it up so that when you click to open your browser, it opens up to your email. Others, depending on what kinds of things, how you use your computer. So personal preference is a big thing in setups. You may open it up and it might have lots of tabs because you told the person, yeah, I go here and I go here and I go here. I go these 3 places every time. I go to my local news page, and I go to my church's page. And those are the 3 things I check. I check my email, or maybe I go to Facebook. I go to the SeniorTechConnect.net, or I go to Facebook and I go to their group there, or I go and wherever you go. However many tabs are open, it's okay. It's a personal preference. It's a settings thing. And in the Browser More Than Basics video, we'll show you how to change those settings. All right, so with the tabs, similar to how it was with your taskbar, the active tab is a slightly different color. That means whichever one is showing as a slightly different color is going to be the actual web page that you are looking at. You can click on any of the tabs that are open, and then that particular web page would be your active page. So any tab that's listed is open. It's open currently, but it's not actively being looked at. So you can click on any of the tabs that are there. And then if you want to open up a new tab, then you're going to click on the plus sign. Plus sign's all the way over to the side, and you click on that and it will open up a new tab. And so you would notice that it would say on the tab itself, until you tell it where to go, it's just going to say new tab. And each browser will have a slightly different look to their new tabs. Most of them will have some kind of a search function because they figure you're opening up a new tab either to go to a specific website or to do a search. But in a minute, I'm going to have you get familiar with what your new tab looks like. And if you're wanting to close only this one tab, if you're done with that tab and you know you're not going to be returning to it, you can just close it and you do the little X on the corner of the tab, and that will close that. In a minute, I'll talk about the big X over here in the corner that closes out your whole browser. We don't want you to click that big X on the browser during this training, okay? Because that would close the video and that would be sad. Now, if you accidentally do that, you can always go back, open up your browser again, and then open up a tab. Click to open up a new tab, and you can go to SeniorTechConnect, go to the page that has our videos, and then find the Browser Basics Part 1 video, click on it, and it will bring you back. All right, okay. So next up is our practice. So part of our process here with SeniorTechConnect is a lot of our videos are going to have a practice or more than one for you to do during the video. So the way that it's going to work, I'll explain it for each first practice on all of our videos. So if you've been with us through other videos, pardon me for while I explain for a sec. So with the practices, I'm going to read through what you're going to do. Now these same instructions are on the note sheet as well. But I'm going to read through what you're going to do, and then once I'm to the bottom, I'm going to say, okay, now I want you to pause the video. If you don't know how to pause the video, here's the instructions. You click on the video, or you can click on the play pause button that's underneath the video, at the bottom of the video. So, and then you're going to go and you're going to practice. You're going to do whatever it is you're supposed to do. And if you want to play longer, play longer. If you're curious, yay! Lean into that. Be curious. Learn new things. Have fun with this. And I know some of the tasks may not seem that exciting, but and if it's something that you already know, fabulous. You can skip it. You don't need to pause the video. You're like, oh, I already know about this. Let's get to something I don't know. And you can continue on. So for this practice, I want you to look at the browser that you're using to watch this video. So get used to looking down at your taskbar, find it really fast. There you go. Then I want you to open up a new tab. So you're going to do that by clicking on the plus sign. In that new tab, I want you to look at it. What does it look like for your browser? Does it have a search? Where do I go to search? Does it have anything else that it's offering? For example, with Google Chrome, sometimes they have that little, hey, I'm feeling lucky. Google, you decide where I'm going next. And then Google, based on what they know about you, they'll say, ooh, I bet this person's interested in this, and they'll take you there. So, different browsers offer different things on their new tabs. So see what yours does. And then I want you to go ahead and close that new tab. So practice that by clicking just the little X on the new tab. Close out that. Now the thing that's going to happen is as soon as you click to open a new tab, this video is going to disappear. It's not gone. It's not gone. It's still here. It's waiting for you. That tab is there. So you're going to click on the video tab to return to this video. You're going to click on the one that says YouTube or YT. It has the little, YouTube icon on it. You're going to click on that to come back to the video. Then you're going to click on the video again to unpause it, or you're going to click on the pause play button to unpause it. And then we're going to continue. So go ahead and pause the video. Good luck with your first tabs practice. I'll see you on the other side. All right, welcome back. Yay for your tabs practice. Your first practice is done. The next thing we're going to be covering is some of the functions on the corner. So it's usually found in the upper right hand corner of browsers, unless you're doing Apple and they kind of do things backwards. So if it's upper right on everybody else, Apple usually has it in upper left, but we're going to use Chrome for our example. So it's upper right. And the things that we're going to cover are the minimize, the maximize, and the close. So our minimize is something that you will use if you have multiple programs open on your computer and you want to be looking at the different things. You want to have all of them open, and maybe you need them for different projects you're working on. For example, maybe you're working on a personal history. And so you want to have the internet open and you're looking at maybe the history of the town you grew up in, and maybe you have the maps tab open too, and maybe you have your high school tab open. I don't know, whatever you're doing. So you've got a bunch of things open on the internet, but then you also have your Word document program open, and you are working on both of them, but then it's like you really need to concentrate on what you're writing, so you don't want to see the internet anymore. You're going to click your minimize button and it's going to disappear. It's going to go down to your taskbar. It's still open to the exact same tab. Everything that you had open is still open. It's just you don't want to see it right now. So you're going to minimize, and that takes it down. Now the fun thing about these three that we're going to talk about on this particular page right here is these things are not only functions in browsers. These three are functions in most software programs, depending on what they are. And so the minimize, the maximize, and the close are all, just look for them in different programs that you use. So after the minimize, you'll click it, it'll take it down to your taskbar, you click on it again in the taskbar, and it opens it right back up. With the maximize or restore down, this middle icon here, it's either a square or it's two squares on top of each other. It's a toggle switch. It's either one or the other. So when you are in restore down mode, the icon is going to look like the one square because it's going to say, hey, click me and I'll maximize for you. So maximize means it takes it to full screen, which is great when you're watching videos. It's great when you're watching movies. It's great when you are maybe looking at pictures of people, grandkids, whatever. You've got your maximize and it takes it to full screen. Then once you're in full screen, it changes that icon to look like two little squares. And so you can click on that and then it brings it back to the size it was before. Now the fun thing that I enjoy doing with the restore down mode is I can have a couple of different programs right next to each other. So again, let's go back to the example. I'm writing a personal history. So I have maybe my internet and I've got my maps open, and I wanted to describe the roads that I took to go from, my high school to the place I worked. And, so I look at, oh, look, those were busy roads. They're still there. Isn't that great? So you can put that detail into your personal history because you can click on the corners of your windows of the different programs of your browser. For example, you can click on the lower corner and it will appear like a two-headed arrow. And then if you click and drag, you can make your browser window shorter or taller, skinnier or wider. And so you can do that, and you could do that with both windows, both programs, and then you could have both programs next to each other. It's really cool. It's very helpful when you're doing research on things or when you're planning trips, that kind of thing. It's really a good function. So I'm going to have you practice that in just a minute. The last command is one that I call the red X. A lot of people will call it the red X. I have found in the training world, and it's if you look at it normally, it's black. It's black in a rectangle, and it's not red. But we'll call it the red X in the corner because when you hover over it, the rectangle that it is in turns red. And it's a white X in a red box. So often call it the red X. If I call it the red X in other videos, please forgive me. Know ahead of time that that's what I'm referring to. The red X in the corner is that close, and that will not just close one little tab, it will close all of the tabs in your browser. If you're in another program, it will close the program. So that can be sad depending on what you are doing. So be careful with closing that. Of course, if you're done for the day and you're closing and turning your computer off, you are going to want to close any programs that are open. So the red X, the close, will close that program. All right, ready for another practice? Here we go. Yay! This is going to be practicing with the minimize, the maximize, and the restore. I am not going to have you practice the close because you can do that at the end of the day when you are done using your computer and you're going to shut it down. All right, so you're going to pause the video after we've given the instructions. So the first thing I want you to play with is the maximize and the restore. So I want you to look at full screen. See what that looks like on your computer, on your monitor. See what it does. And then I really want you to play with and practice the restore down. So once it's not full screen anymore, go ahead and grab that lower corner and until you kind of play with it, hover over it, and it will turn into that two-headed arrow. And that arrow will tell you, if you click and drag, the arrow will tell you what way it's going to let you move the program. So if it's like horizontal, then that means you're making it wider or thinner. If it's vertical, that means you're going to take it up or down. If you're in the very corner, then it gives you a diagonal line, and then you could go, up and in or out and down at the same time. It's cool. So practice with that. If you already have that skill, fabulous, then you can just skip to the next. The other thing I want you to do is practice minimizing. So click on the minimize, and remember that's going to take this browser down to the bottom. It's going to take it down to your taskbar or over to your taskbar if yours is on the side. And then I want you to click on the browser icon again to bring it back up, to restore it. So those are the things I want you to play with in this practice. So go ahead and pause the video and I'll see you in a sec. Yay! Okay, welcome back. Hope that went well and that you're feeling pretty good. The next thing we're going to cover is the tools or functions that are found right below what we've just been talking about. So we've been talking about the tabs and we talked about the commands over in the upper right. So the next thing down is our navigation or address bar and these commands right here. So in this big space is where you will type in your website address or search terms. So some examples here. If you wanted to go to a website and you know the specific website address, for example, SeniorTechConnect.net or Google.com or Facebook.com or something.edu, your school name and edu. You know the full website, you can just type it in and then hit the enter key, and then it will take you directly to that website. So we type in SeniorTechConnect.net, enter, and it opens up a tab. It opens up Senior Tech Connect. So as you're doing this, I want you to get into the practice of always opening up a new tab so that you're keeping the tabs open that you want to have open. So if you're done with Facebook and you're not going to go to it anymore, then go ahead and you can, type in a new address there. But sometimes when you're typing, you'll get kind of half an address, and it's just easier if you always just make the best practice of opening up a new tab to go to a new website. Okay, because you know how to close the ones that you're done with. Open up a new tab to go to a new website. You're going to type in the website address into the address bar. Most browsers now also let this be a search bar. So let's say you're like, oh, I can't remember the address, but it was SeniorTechConnect. So you type in SeniorTechConnect with the spaces and you hit enter, and it's going to say, oh, she's searching. I'm gonna take her to this. And so it's going to give you search results instead of taking you to that specific website. Then you can see the website there and you can click on it. You do want to make sure with all of these spammy things that are going on these days that you go to the real website and that you check the address that you're going to, that you really are going to the address that you think you are going to. Another thing with this is handy is if it's a website that you've been to before, then you can just start typing. So like with me, I'm on SeniorTechConnect a lot. So I type in SEN and it instantly says, oh, Liz is wanting to go to SeniorTechConnect. And so it will actually put the full address, as I'm typing, it puts the full address in. And then I can hit my enter key and it will take me there. Okay. All right. And once you're on a website, once you've been to at least one page, then these other commands will come into play. So you're on the website and let's say you go to a second web page. Once you've gone to a second web page, then your back arrow is active. It's no longer gray, but black. And so then you can click on it once and go back to the screen you were just on. And so you can go, front and back, front and back. You can go to the page you were just on and then go ahead and go to a different page. And let's say now, once you've gone to two different pages, then your front arrow becomes active because then you can go back to one. And once you're on a back page, then it gives you the option to go to a front. Go in a sense backwards twice, but back and then front. So you can go between two web pages that way. Now the cool thing, let's say you're doing research and you've been on 5 different web pages so far. You've been to 5 different websites. You're like, oh, I wanted that piece of information, but was it that 3 or 4 pages back? Instead of clicking back, you can click and hold either the back or the front key and it will show you a history, which is really cool because then you can just go to the specific page you want, or most browsers will have at the bottom an option to just clear everything, clear your history. You want to start a new tab, you want to start it all over and do a new tab. Or it will show you the full history. So it'll only show you a certain number. I believe that's in settings in some browsers. In other browsers, it's just an automatic setting that they say will show you up to the last 10 or whatever. And you can see the full history and then it will actually open that up and you can see everywhere that you've been. So if it was like 20 pages back and you're like, I am not seeing that right now, you can go to full history and that way you can get to the pages that you were on before, which I just think is really cool. So the last command there is the refresh. With refresh or reload, some of you will use that a lot. Others of you will probably never use it hardly at all. So if you're like me and you are in a more rural area, or you have really slow internet, or you have a really old machine device, then you refresh and reload may be something you're very familiar with. If you're loading a page and that little spinny thing is just spinning, and you're like, oh, it doesn't normally take me this long to open up this page, then go ahead and click that refresh or reload. And that actually toggles to an X. So once the page is loading, then you, if it's an X instead of the little circle, then you can hit the X and that will stop the loading of the page process. And then you can click the refresh or reload and it will start that process again. So in my example, because we live in a rural area, our internet, we actually get it through an antenna on our roof. And so there are times, I don't know if maybe a big bird is flying between us and the mountain, but there are times when I'm loading a page and I'm like, it should not be taking this long. It should not be taking this long. And then I'll just stop and reload the page and then it usually gets through whatever glitch was causing the delay and it's good. Now, please note of caution, if you're in the middle of a transaction, like you're buying something and it's taking a long time, just let it ride, because if you do the refresh or reload when you're buying something, you could end up buying it twice. And that would be sad because, I mean, unless it's something that you really want 2 of, in which case you probably would have ordered 2. And if you hit the refresh reload, you could be now ordering 4. So just don't do that if you're in the middle of a transaction. Yeah, but it's a great thing. All right, ready for another practice. Yay! This is the last practice of this video. So this is going to be moving between tabs. So same instructions as before. We're going to go through everything you're going to do and then you're going to go ahead and pause the video. So I want you to open up a new tab. So practice opening a new tab, and this time instead of just closing that new tab that you open, I want you to open up the new tab and type into the address bar SeniorTechConnect.net. No spaces, SeniorTechConnect.net into the address bar and then hit enter, and it will take you to that website, to our website. And then I want you to practice clicking between the tabs. So you'd have the YouTube tab open, because of course as soon as you click to open a new tab, the YouTube tab is still open, but it's not active. So it's just sitting there waiting for you, patiently waiting. And then you will go between those two. And maybe you originally got to this video because from an email. And so your email tab might be open too. So I want you to practice, play with going between the tabs. Get comfortable with that so it becomes automatic to you. And then I want you to click back to our website. So click back to SeniorTechConnect.net. And I want you to click on one of our site's pages. So with website design, most pages, when you just type in their main web page, it takes you to what they call the home page. So in a menu, if you see home, that means that that web page, that website, it will take you back to their main website page. Now with SeniorTechConnect, we've got several different web pages within our website. So I want you to practice clicking on website pages. On most websites, there's going to be a line of the different pages that they have within their website, either at the top or the bottom or both. And on tablets and phones, it's usually in one of those 3-line menu options. So that usually is found either at the top right or the top left, and you can find the different pages that way. So go ahead and click on one of the pages. Click on the videos page, for example. And then once you're there, I want you to practice the back arrow to go back. And I want you to do that clicking on at least 3 different pages. So click and then return home. And then you can use the back arrow. So you could do it each time, going to a new page, the back page to go home, going to a new page, the back page to go home. Or since this line is at the top of all the different pages, you could just click to videos, and then you could click on opportunities to serve. And if that interests you, go ahead and read through what we've got there, the charities that we support, the resources and products that we suggest, things that we found helpful to our community, and then about us. So you can read any of those, you can click through them, or just practice clicking. Click, 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 click. Go to at least 3 different pages, and then I want you to practice the click and hold. Click and hold so that you can return, then click on the home page to return to the home page. Okay? And then go ahead and click back to the tab for the YouTube video when you feel pretty competent with clicking on different pages and getting back and forward and all of those things. When you feel pretty confident with that, then come back to this video and unpause the video. Go ahead and pause the video, and I'll see you on the other side. Yay! Welcome back, welcome back. Good thing. Hope you've learned something with this video. Thank you so much for spending some time with us and watching this video. Again, thank you so much for making our world a better place to be. Really, really appreciate that you are here in our world. And thank you for sharing us with your friends and family. If you found this helpful, entertaining at all, then please, please, please go ahead and share that with your friends. You can check out all of the videos that we currently have out on SeniorTechConnect.net. You can also there submit comments of suggestions of things that you would like us to do. We also have those same functions over in our Facebook group for SeniorTechConnect.net. So if you're interested to help our channel out, if this has been helpful to you, then please do a like. Click on the like button for this video, and also add a comment. So it would be really helpful to us as a community if you would add a comment below and let us know what browser you are using, because that can help shape the future browsers. If the majority of our community is using Edge, for example, instead of Chrome, then we would begin using Edge in our videos, or we would make sure that we come out with a video, similar content, but using Edge instead. So you've got that choice to see something that matches closer to what you're using. So please make a comment below and let us know. And then also, it doesn't cost you anything to like or comment or subscribe. So if you could subscribe, click on that subscribe button and subscribe to our channel, that would be incredibly helpful. And thank you so much. As I've said before, at the end, we will have on this there's videos listed. You can click on those videos that we've mentioned in this video and you can watch those next. So you can also find them by going to our YouTube channel and searching for SeniorTechConnect, the YouTube channel, or you can get to them through using links on our website or in our email subscription. So you can subscribe to receive emails from us whenever we have a new email. So go ahead and click on any of those that you are interested in watching. Again, thank you so much for making our world a better place. We appreciate you being here. Bye. Have a good day.